Hello, everybody. It's me, Shelby. I'm from class. Um, and Before I get started on my video project, just want to say that to Professor Lopez, I really did enjoy your class this semester. I learned a lot about Mexico. Um, Coming into the course, I had assumptions about Mexico that were incorrect. And until I took this course, I learned a lot about its history and how that history shaped Mexico to what it is today. And so I thank you for educating me on Mexico because, as I said in my paper, my proposal, I pretty much knew U.S. history for the most part. And because of you, um, I now know some Mexican history. I now am expanding broadening my horizons, if you will, and trying to learn other history from different countries and whatnot. So I want to thank you for that. I really did have a good time this semester. Um, as far as my video presentation goes, I just want to talk about blacks in Mexico. Um, and the reason why I want to talk about um, that topic, or blacks in Mexico, because I never knew that Mexico had a prominent black community there. I just did not know that. Um, Now, of course, I knew there were some blacks that live in Mexico, but I just didn't know they had a community um, in the country. Didn't know anything about Gaspar Yang. I never heard of him until I took your course. So once again, I thank you for that. But the history is pretty interesting. And well, first I'm just going to talk about Veracruz um, and Yanga, Gaspar Yanga. As you know, you already know, Gaspar Yanga was a slave brought to Mexico under the Spanish. He's comes from royal blood. He has royal blood in Africa, so that's where he's from. He has that royal blood in him, and he basically led a rebellion, a slave rebellion against the Spanish, and was successful in Veracruz and that whole area over there in Mexico. So I found that to be interesting. Um, some of the books that I read, he's really looked at as a hero there in that area um, for defeating the Spanish. And you know, what I find interesting is that today, um, a lot of people in Mexico don't really seem to have an overall appreciation of that type of history. Now, I've read some books where people there opt to ignore that type of history, don't care to know about that type of history. But I don't think that's done intentionally. I just think that just um, Mexico, the whole Latin America period, there's a lot of racial mixing. So I think the reason why Yango doesn't get brought up as much as he should um, is because there's so much racial mixing going on in Latin America, in Mexico, Brazil, just everywhere in Mexico, but in Latin America, but specifically Mexico. I think that people just see themselves as Mexicans, and that's it. Today, you're starting to see more people bring that history to light, bring Yanga to the forefront, so people can have an appreciation of um, Yanga and the history that is there in Veracruz, and have be appreciative of blacks' contribution to Mexico, or just acknowledging that they are there. So people are starting to get that now. But I just find it interesting that as far as the blacks today is concerned, in Mexico, Afro Mexican, um, a lot of them probably feel like they're outsiders and things like that. And you know, again, you know, is there racism there? Yeah, probably, but you know, the way Mexico is promoted and marketed, uh, these you have a certain look, um, and I think that um, Afro Mexicans don't feel as they're appreciated. So I figure this: if people there in Mexico would talk about and bring black Mexico, like the black history there that is in Mexico, which is there, to light more, I think the country overall will have an appreciation for it, and then black Mexicans will have appreciation for it, and they will start to feel good, and maybe people will start to incorporate them more and market them more, things like that. But you know, history is that's a good thing about history. Um, it's important. That's why it is there, so people can look back and look at the contributions people have made in Mexico. Obviously, the Spanish have pillaged the land, but if there's any good that comes out of this, in terms of like where blacks are concerned, and Yanga helping defeating the Spanish should make people feel good, I guess. Bring out their history more, and they are doing that. Then I think as time goes on, people will have more of an appreciation of blacks' contribution to Mexico, and then black Mexicans will feel more, you know, you know, a lot better. But I just think that part of the history needs to be brought to the forefront. Um, as far as like the economic situation, again, that's still difficult. Um, you know, because they have to deal with a lot of corruption already that's going on in Mexico. Um, um, you know, with politicians and things like that that are hurting the people, and on top of that, you got the black Mexicans feeling like they're casted out of everything. Um, but the good thing about that is they're not. I mean, they may be frustrated, but you know, they still look at themselves as Mexicans. That's it. They don't want to really be called Afro Mexicans. They just want to be Mexican, and that's good because if you look at the United States, we have these tags, African American, instead of just being American, or U.S. whatever, because Mexico is an American country too. so, um, so you know, the research was interesting. Um, you know, so as far like I said, as far as the economic situation, a lot of things can improve there, but I would say get the most important thing, if Afro Mexicans want to feel a lot better about being Mexicans, and get it and do away with the caste system in terms of the way that they feel about that. I say pay attention to the history, and in Veracruz, people need to have more appreciation of blacks' contribution to Mexico. But but as I said earlier, I don't think that's in um, um, a lot of people in Mexico are doing that intentionally. I just think that there's so much racial mixing going on that even though your general Mexican will say, okay, he's black, but they know that that black person is mixed. You know, like he's mixed. So everybody's pretty much mixed, and it's more diverse than the United States and Canada by far in terms of Latin America, as far as Latin America is concerned. So have an appreciation for that. Have an appreciation for that they're Mexican, and also appreciating the history. Those are the things I would say that they should focus on. And once they appreciate that history, maybe things will change. But they also at the same time got to get rid of the corruption that is going on in Mexico relative to politics, because that does not help the situation at all. And that's mix with your just typical, you know, Mexican citizens there. You know, corruption is not good. It's going to hurt the people. Then it's going to create this tension, and then you know you're going to have people pitting one against the other, and I think that's how a lot of black Mexicans may be feeling, like they're casted out of everything. So, but you know, so that's the reason why I wanted to talk about um, um, the Afro Mexican subtopic. I thought that was really interesting that um, they have a history there, which I did not know. You know, um, I always thought that a lot of blacks, when they were brought over to the Western Hemisphere, that they went to places like Haiti, which I guess they call it Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Cuba, Brazil, and that was it. I didn't think there would be like I knew there some may have went to Mexico, but I didn't know that it was prominent in Mexico as well. I just thought the Spanish was over in Mexico trying to pillage the place. So, but you know, they had slaves in Mexico, and I found that very, very interesting. So, but yeah, otherwise that was it. Um, you know, it's really cool that you brought that to light in class. I really appreciate that. Um, so yeah, this goes to show, man. Like, you know, I know more about Mexico now than I did ever before, and which is surprising because I have one of my best friends is Mexican, and he really never. Asked him questions before, but you know, they're nothing. They're just bland questions, nothing really serious. So and so, you know, I told him about the course. I told him what I was going to be talking about. His name is Rafael, and he goes to Mexico every year. And I asked him what was the black community situation down there like, and he's never really come across a lot of black people. He's seen black Mexicans, but you know he's never really like interacted with them or anything like that. His family is in the rural areas of Mexico, so he's not over there. His family's not over near the Veracruz area, that part of the country, if you will. So, but yep. Anyhow, that was it. That was my story. You know, I thought that was pretty cool that you wanted to talk about the black community in Mexico, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the class are probably, you know, surprised that there's a prominent community down there, which is nice. And I have expressed this to some of my other friends who are black, and they didn't know this either. So they never heard of Gaspar Yanga, and so that's interesting stuff there. Really, it really is. So I like the history down there in Mexico. It's really interesting history there. Besides the United States, really nice, and I enjoyed the class a great deal. So I thank you very kindly. Other than that, you have a good day, a good rest of the year. Peace and blessings to you. Take care. Bye bye.